Life could be a dream if I can take you up to paradise above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Hello, this is Pennsylvania K4 2008, making another video because I am truly bored. This time, it is about the first ever Thomas AU created, which is Sodor Fallout. The AU that inspired others on making their own AUs, especially me. I know what you're thinking, Sodor Fallout is mid. It's awful because of the controversies around it that had nothing to do with the story as a whole. But those aren't good reasons to hate it. I wouldn't really say it's mid or awful in any way. I do believe the AU did not age well, and that's the reason why people don't like it. Why don't we look into the actual reason why Sodor Fallout is disliked since like mid or late 2002. Sodor Fallout by Tinmouth Thunderbolt is a thought-provoking and emotional exploration of the aftermath after a catastrophic event that takes place on the island of Sodor. The story is set in the world of Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends, but it takes a much darker turn than the beloved children's stories that most people associate these characters with. The story begins with a devastating explosion at the Sodor nuclear power plant. The explosion destroys much of the island, leaving it in ruins and causing the deaths of many on the island's inhabitants. The few survivors are left to grapple with the trauma and grief of their loss, as well as the long-term effects of radiation exposure. The story is true, though, to perspectives in several different characters, each of whom offers a unique personality on the events that take place. There is Thomas, the brave and resilient engine who manages to survive the explosion, but is left with deep emotional scars. There's also Sir Thomas Head, the once powerful controller of the railway, who struggles to maintain control with the face of overwhelming tragedy and devastation. As the story unfolds, we see the survivors struggling to come to terms with the enormity of what was happening. They must cope with the loss of loved ones, destruction of their homes and communities, and the realization that their world will never be the same again. We see them wrestling with fears of anger, despair, and hopelessness. But we also see moments of resilience, courage, and kindness as they band together and rebuild and support one another. One of the most striking aspects of Sodor Fallout is the exploration of the long-term effects of the nuclear disaster. We see characters grappling with radiation sickness, cancer, and other health problems, as well as physiological trauma of surviving such a catastrophic event. This is a theme that is rarely explored in children's literature, but it is an important one to say the least. Particularly in a world where nuclear power plant is becoming increasingly common. Another key theme of the story is the power of community and human connection. Despite the devastation and loss, we see characters come together and support one another, sharing their grief and their hope for the better future. This is a powerful message, particularly in a world where so many people feel isolated and disconnected. Overall, Sodor Fallout is a powerful and thought-provoking story that others seem to explore the important themes and raising important questions. It is a story that will stay with readers long after they finished reading it, and it is a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and inspire empathy, understanding, and the hope of face of tragedy. Well, there's a couple reasons why the first ever AU was criticized so much, but there isn't an exact reason why. Well, number one, let's just say that the story is good in my opinion, but all the shitty remakes and copies were just awful. All the remakes and AUs of Sodor Fallout are lazy and are mostly created by little kids of the fandom. The only remake I've ever seen was Percy and the Beast Productions, and it was just made with television series footage, which is why I liked it in the first place. Other than that, I can understand why many of other remixes are not appreciated. AUs of Sodor Fallout, or any other AU in general, are just really suck ass and are a lazy way to earn subscribers on your channel. I feel the need to say that you should just stick to the original content or AU so that people can appreciate you. So, make something based on your favorite AU or any form of media of pop culture. Number 2. Well, we should talk about the elephant in the room, and his name is Tidmouth Thunderbolt, or Frogs. Now, who is he, you may be asking? Tidmouth Thunderbolt is the author of the fanfiction story Sodor Fallout. Tidmouth Thunderbolt's other works and personal information are not widely known or publicly available, but the reason he's one of the main problems with Sodor Fallout is that he's caused controversies about other AUs, and how they were mostly copies of his AU. Now, I couldn't see what he was talking about, like the shitty remakes and copies that we went over, but he also was talking about other AUs that were an inspiration from his series. Most of those AU's creators did not like him for that, and it makes them feel discouraged and hurtful. Tidmouth Thunderbolt was now one of the biggest controversial topics in the Thomas fandom, and it doesn't end there for him. He was accused for being a pedophile because a person I know from a Discord server claimed that he made a tier list of girls' boobies. Keep in mind they were like minors. Now this is a major red flag, as most of the AU creators were inspired by this man. He being the reason of controversy can potentially make others look bad, as they looked up to him. So they forget that he ever existed along with Sodor Fallout because of how much it was now being disliked. Now, I can go on and on just to find reasons to rip on this story, despite how the story shouldn't even be criticized because of its creators or its fans. But that's a long story. The whole point is that it should be slightly respected as a whole. I mean, we wouldn't have AUs like the Sodor Cold War, Sodor Left 4 Dead 1 or 2, Sodor Decay, Sodor Mist, the bombing of Sodor, etc. Sodor Fallout was the birth of many AUs, the Jesus Herald Christ of AUs. And yes, I truly think that we were way too harsh on Sodor Fallout. While we could dislike the other controversies around it, the story itself should be treated well and given a round of applause for all the years it gave us. This story gave us so much, and it was the first Thomas AU created despite it not aging well. It's basically Toy Story of Thomas AUs, if you think about it. Do I think there are AUs better than this story? Definitely. That's the whole point in making AUs that were based on Sodor Fallout. It was so they can create a good or better story of Sodor Fallout and make something original that others can enjoy. Well, this is all the time I have left, and I'll plan videos on my channel. I don't know where or when, but we'll meet again some sunny day.
Your life could be a dream if I can take you up to paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello again.
You're not important. You're not cool. You're dumb. No one likes you. You have a problem learning how to read. That makes you feel uncomfortable. That's too bad.